And you know, us sports moms have something to say.
Yes, we do.
We'll have a chance to interview across the board, from athletes to the parents to the coaches to even the trainers.
Yeah. And we're not afraid to share our journey. We're not afraid to tell other moms what we went through in order to raise up a student athlete. So I believe that it's inspirational.
Yeah. We able to tell our story, the good and the bad.
Yeah. We can give back positive information.
Absolutely.
You know, we can empower them.
Yes, I think it's time for the mothers to be a voice.
Yeah.
Yes. That's it.
It's time for us to let you know what's going on.
Yes.
What? What's up? What's up? It's Karen in the house, and I got my other host.
Yes. Your co-host Kawashika. How everybody is doing?
Yes, it's exciting time. You know, we got a new president. I think.
Do we?
I know. It's just crazy, right?
Not yet.
Not yet. Wow. I was listening to somebody today, and they was just saying, how Trump could bring out a Trump card and how things could be, him not wanting to come out. And I'm just like, wow, that would be something amazing, something that's first done in history,
Right.
So
right. It ain't over yet. It's not over.
No, that's scary. Come on now. Are we gonna have a civil war? You got to go
no.
bomb up the White House and get him out?
No, we're not. No. Stay tuned, guys.
Right.
Tuned.
So what you got going on?
Oh my God, Miss Karen, let me tell you something. Listen, it's so much going on in this world, and I'm just trying to stay out the way. Do you hear me? It is so much going on. We could talk about a lot of things, but it's just, silence is the key for me right now. It's because it's like you go up and down. You think it's about to break, and then here goes something else. But that's the part of the plan, fear. So you got to be mindful of that. But yeah, it just, I'm just trying to stay out the way. It's trying to, stay in a place where God, because you can have anxiety. It can.
Oh, yeah.
I'm about to speak in tongues.
Oh,
but yeah.
I understand it, because I know when I go on Facebook, I'm seeing somebody saying rest in peace, and I'm just like, oh my God. Right. I mean, oh my God, we can't afford to hold odds against our brothers and stuff.
Right.
Like, it's like now more than any time in history, you cannot afford to hold up a hatred or anything against your brothers or sisters. It's just because you just never know. You're not waking up.
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
And
yeah,
it's scary, but it's a reality.
It is. Like, honestly, yesterday, of course, a lot of people don't know, but in our own hometown, a Dallas rapper, Mo3, was shot on the highway, and that's like 10 minutes away from me. And so, yeah, I didn't never follow him like that, but it's just break my heart to see the young men go back and forth. And in this generation, it's just sad to see, why everybody can't come up together. Why everybody can't, be for one another. Why we can't help one another. Why we got to be better than the next person. Why, it just amazes to me. And it's not about money. It's not about money. It's about status and who, but it's so sad to me. So that kind of touched me. I was like, oh my God, because I have young boys. I have young sons, So, but then you got the election, you got people firing off, getting, you have people that was once friends. Now, they're going against one another because who they decide to pick or choose to be the president. And like, seriously, like, this is the hour where everything is being exposed.
Yeah.
people are, their character, their conduct, their conversation, and they putting it all on Facebook, and it's like, okay, that's who you really are. I
Right.
mean, if we was friends before, why we can't be friends now? Because I choose to pick this person and you
Right.
choose to pick, it just amazes me. So it's a lot.
It is a lot. I mean, we have to learn to just love people for who they are and
Right,
allow them to have an opinion,
right.
even if their opinion is contrary to ours. And so all we're
Absolutely.
supposed to do is to love. That's the commandment, is us to love, and
Right,
everybody's not gonna always get along. And so
right. Agree
yeah,
to disagree.
yeah,
Agree to
yeah,
disagree, yeah. But
yeah. But you know what? I am excited that we are coming up on our season finale,
oh
which is going to be
yes.
on Sunday.
Yes.
Somebody was asking me, they was like, "How many shows have you done?" And I was like, "I don't know. I got to go back and count." So I went
Right.
back and counted. We have done 96 shows.
It's crazy because it does not seem like that. We were just going. Now I probably missed a good 5, 6, but it don't seem like we did those many shows. We just kept going and going and going and going. That is amazing.
It is.
Yes, let's clap for ourselves.
Woo! Yes, you know what? I just appreciate you guys for
Thank
hanging
you.
in there. Okay, we had sometimes shows 3 times a week,
Oh
and I just
yeah, yeah.
appreciate the sacrifice you guys have made in
Yeah.
this brand. And I'm just excited on what God is going to do. We got some great guests coming up
Oh
next
wow.
year in the season
Yes, I got
two.
chills.
I mean, God is just really opening some doors, and I
Right.
just appreciate what He is doing. And
Absolutely.
so I'm excited. So I'm ready. I'm gonna get my hair done tomorrow
Yes,
and
yes. And
get
I
my
just want to
lashes done.
listen. I got so much stuff I need to get done up in this face. Oh my God. But I want to give it back to you, Miss Karen, the visionary of the show. Can We Talk Sports? If you just tune in, this is the visionary. This who create. God gave her idea and she manifested it. And so I'm just grateful
Praise
to
God.
be a part of it. Thank you so much for even thinking about me being a part of this, because I am a true sports mom. I am, in my own unique way. Trust and believe that. So
Yeah.
I got an opportunity to, be on a platform that discuss, and we learned so many stuff, but we'll leave that to the finale. Come on.
Right, right. But we are excited about our
Yes,
guest tonight.
absolutely.
It just amazed me. When I see people, when I see them, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna just send them an email, and then they respond. I'll be like, oh, they responded,
No, right.
and I was like, God, just thank you, God, for those people who
Right,
respond. I
right.
just appreciate it, and I'm so excited for this guest. I
Yes.
just need a little bit of his energy. I might drop this 50 pounds if
Come
he would
on.
give me a little bit of his energy.
Come
So
on.
I'm just so excited. And then we have a guest host on tonight as well, Mr. Michael Scott. He's coming on there with
Yes.
us to dig into these questions with our guests. So welcome to the show, Coach Baker.
All right, babe.
Here.
All right, so I'm going out the clinic and I'm bringing it in like I'm running a real practice. Hey, come on, guys, bring it in. Ball. Bring it in. Very good, yeah. Hey, guys, my name's Coach Baker. It's an honor to coach you guys this year. No question, we're going to win. That's our goal. But my goal is I want you to act like winners. And here's today's quote. It's a spiritual crime that you don't have greatness in your game and your life. You're born to be great. I don't care about your mistakes the first couple weeks. All right? I do care about your attitude after them. What did I say, Dylan?
You care about the attitude after that?
I care about your attitude after the mistakes. So here are a couple expectations, guys. This is your team. I don't have rules. I'm not trying to handcuff you. All right? I want you to do what you do, baby. But it's going to be under the respect of the game. That's what brings us together. Nike sponsors us. What a great, you know who else sponsors Nike? Who else gets sponsored by Nike? Kobe. Oh, you're a white guy that likes a black guy. Good. I was thinking Steve Nash. White guys got to stick together. Is the game about white, black? No, look at us, man. All right? We got different haircuts on this team. We got different whatever this is. Okay? The game is colorblind. Success is colorblind, gender-free, fellas. All right? I don't care what color you are. You can wear that. All right? But I ask that we have no earrings. That's an expectation. I ask that when we talk to each other, look us in the eye. Even me, when I'm talking to you, look me in the eye. If not, I might throw the ball at you. Why? Because that's a presence. Kobe has a presence. He respects his teammates. He has to get on them, but that shows love. I love you guys. All right? And prove to me that you love me. Eye contact. Eye contact. Second thing I have, you can't yawn. Yawning is soft. Are winners soft or tough? Tough. Yeah. We don't have to make every shot, but we can be tough on defense. And a defensive stance is a presence, so you can't yawn. That's a sign of mediocrity. We're not built like that. You can get water anytime you want. If your pee-pee is yellow, you got to drink more water. If it's black and yellow, black and yellow, black and yellow, black and yellow, let's call the hospital, because that's not right. All right, that's not right. Your pee-pee has to be clear. I'm dead serious, fellas. All right, the more water you get in your body, the better you feel. You can handle like Coach used to. Last expectation is when we bring it in, I want energy. Championship teams win because they touch. Y'all like Kevin Garnett? What did Kevin Garnett do in the series when they played Miami? Petrus was walking away. What did Kevin Garnett do? National TV, he grabbed his wrist. No, we stay together, we play together. It's that important. Trust me. I'll tell you about the research the New York Times did after practice. Any questions? Every now and then when we have a dead time, high five, lift. Good job, Dylan. Good job, EJ. All right, I want a lot of touches. I want player coaches, not coaches coaching players. I want to have player coaches. I don't know who that is, but let somebody stand up. An empty gym, a silent gym is a losing gym. Questions? Here we go. Bring it in. On three. On three. What do we say? What's our theme today? On three. What?
Yeah, better.
Greatness. Good, Dylan. 1, 2, 3. Greatness. We got to be together. On three. Greatness. 1, 2, 3. Greatness. All right, here we go.
Wow.
Amazing.
Wow.
Amazing.
Oh my
He
God.
said it's a spiritual climb.
Yes, he did. He said that's a quote.
Let's go.
So you give quotes
Uh,
at every practice?
hey, y'all are faith-based, so you know your words create their world. So
Absolutely.
of course,
Absolutely.
you know, I live on the word, and my words as a coach are everything. So I don't take them lightly. I study them. I try to impart knowledge and plant seeds, because you know, as a leader, it's what you say that is your oxygen. You know, and if you can't say it, then you better model it. But you know, the great ones have both. But 100%, I got tons of quotes. It's called scripture.
Hey, come on out of
You
here.
know, so, yeah.
All right.
Okay, well, you know what? I'm ready for you, Coach. Because listen, if you hear me over here hollering and screaming, teach, preach, come on out of here, Holy Spirit. Let's go. Yeah.
Hey, Mike Scott, man, are we on Oprah's couch, or are we in the View, or is this BET, man?
Yes,
I don't know where we at, man.
Yes.
I'm here with you. I'm here with you.
All the above. Come on. Yes.
All right, Coach.
It's been like this the whole time, brother.
I love it. It's great. Y'all don't need my energy. Y'all already got it.
Yes, we need your energy too.
We need your energy. We need your words.
Right.
Because we believe in the power of words.
Come on.
So go ahead and tell us all about you, and tell us about your journey and how you got started.
Well, you know, I finished playing professionally in Iceland, and I wasn't good enough to play anymore. I got hurt. So an injury kind of got me still. And so, you know, I was still. And so I prayed a lot. I read the Purpose Driven Life by Rick Warren in the year 2000. And I thought my purpose in life was to teach basketball and use basketball as a platform to show these kids how great they can be. And then I started my own business. And I followed up with a book called The Prayer of Jabez by Bruce Wilkerson. You know, basically on the prayer and chronicles about God, expand my territory, keep me away from evil, take me where you need me to go. And 21 years later, 48 countries, 5 continents, hundreds of NBA players, one of them, Mr. Scott's son as a young kid. I'm still doing it. And basketball has changed my life. It's changed my family's life. But, selfishly, I always tried to play. I tried to play again in 2002, had a little tryout with the Denver Nuggets, made it all the way to about 3 cuts. The last cut, if I'd have made it, I would have gone into Summer League, Carmelo Anthony's rookie year, and I broke my knuckle. And so I went to the coach's office. They said, "Hey, you got a lot of character. You should be a coach, but you're not a good player. You can't play in our league." And so I heard, and so I finally, found out that, look, if you try to fight God's anointing, you're never going to get peace. So I finally found out, I'm anointed to coach, because here's some coaches at the highest level recognize me in a tryout more so as a leader and a coach than a player. And so I finally had peace with playing in 2002, and I've never had a plan B. I've always known my purpose, because, as you know, all of us have a purpose. We were created for a purpose. But that is what's wrong with a lot of people in this life. They try to chase money, power, and respect instead of chasing God's love and respect and what they're anointed to do. And so we can talk about being great as a coach and a leader and what it takes to really coach basketball and what it takes to be a trainer. But, if people want to be great, they have to find out what their purpose is, find out what they're anointed to do, because their path will be a lot easier than trying to figure out what somebody else wants you to do or the world wants you to do. So I give credit to my life source, the good Lord, for showing me that teaching basketball is a business was what I was meant to do.
Wow, I can already tell it's gonna be a part 2, because we got some. You just dug in there. You just talked about bless me indeed, enlarge my territory, and here you are, 30 years later. I mean,
Yeah, you
that
can't
sums
explain
it
it.
up right there. And
Yeah,
you know what?
because
Go ahead.
Mike knows when I first started the skill training business, nobody was doing it. It wasn't even a fad, a trend. There was no internet, social media. I just had an email and a phone number. So I was labeled crazy. My own parents, who are educators, God bless them, I love them, but they said I would fail. And I had a purpose with a passion, and my confidence was, look, man, this is what God wants me to do. I put my life on it, and it's hard for some people to understand, but if they have that undeniable, unbreakable faith, you're unstoppable. So it is a miracle. And now it's common, which there's a whole nother twist to that and a whole nother problem with everybody's a coach, everybody's a skill trainer. Now I have another battle I got to fight, and that's what makes life fun.
Oh, and he said your gift will make room for you. So you right there, you right in your gift. So that's right there. So but yet you were still fighting to get to obtain to play. And so I know that right now we're dealing with a lot of players, football players or all kind of players that have been affected by COVID-19, and they still have that heart of wanting to play. So, but yet you were talking about the struggle, with your purpose. So can you tell us or educate or give people wisdom on that transitioning from your lifelong dream of wanting to be something but being tugged and pulled somewhere else?
Yeah, well, right now, if high school players want to play in college, they should go for that. They don't have any kids or wife. All they got to do is go to school, don't get in trouble with the law, and chase their dream. So if you're a high school kid and COVID has messed up your journey, man, keep fighting. If you got to take out a loan, if you got to live with relatives, if you got to go see your local senator to change some regulations, you do that. But if you take quit out of the equation, a lot of your decisions are much easier. But you got to know the season you're living in. So, if you're high school, you're college, you don't have any family obligations, you don't have any kids, you don't have a wife, then you need to put all you got into your dreams. So I say go for it. Go broke doing that because you're young. You have no responsibilities, so you can make up for it. For me, it was easy for me to give up all because I was 30. And I'd have been selfish and immature if I'd have said, forget this unbelievable ministry, unbelievable business, unbelievable gift, unbelievable anointing. I'd been about 2 years in my business. I had N1 as a sponsor. I had a full-time, revenue coming in. I think I was grossing about $150,000. I was making about 89, 90 from that. So my expenses were low. So I was like, man, I'm killing it. Started to have trainers come to study under me. So I had a wife, no kids. So, it made sense for me to look at the season I was in. As Ecclesiastes say, we all, there's a season for everything. And, I had solitude in my life. So when I had chaos and confusion, I went to my life source, just like people plug in their iPhone. When I needed some energy and wisdom, I plug into my maker. So for me, it was easy to make that transition. And for people that are struggling, you have to understand, well, what season are you in? If you're 27, 28, you got 3 kids, a wife, it's probably selfish of you to chase that NBA dream unless you really have the support and you have boundaries in place that can take care of your family. Because when it's said and done, I don't care how great you were at basketball or football, people are going to remember what kind of man you were, how you impacted the community, and what kind of legacy you left with the ones that you love and the ones that loved you.
Wow. Kawashika, I'm gonna let you come in.
I did have a quick question. Like, now we're gonna go into basketball. I'm loving everything you said, but for those that want to start playing basketball, what age should they start, like, professionally? Like, start playing, like 4, like with the training, the skill set. What age should you start them in or at?
Whenever you need to start playing ball, when you're at the age where you make a decision on your own consistently to go out and play. So like I have a 4-year-old, I have a 6-year-old, and I have an 11-year-old. None of them want to go out and play basketball. So Mike Scott can tell you, I trained his son, I think 7th grade, 8th grade, 9th grade. When I trained him, I'm like, man, this kid will never make it. You know what I mean? Like there was some struggles there. Like I didn't think, he was struggling. So you can't. The hardest thing to measure is development. That's the hardest thing to predict is potential. Some professionals make it and they've started to play at 7 years old, like Kobe. Others make it because they are late bloomers, like a Scottie Pippen. So I tell parents, who cares if they're going to be a professional? Just foster your kid's passion. Forget professional. Focus on passion. And so when my kids say, hey, I want to go outside and do X, I don't care what they do outside. I'm just excited they're going outside on their own. Right. Now, if they're not being active, because, we're sitting here talking about basketball, but you know what? The world is not physically fit. 60% of Americans are obese. Diabetes, heart disease. COVID ain't killing people. It's the diseases that people had before COVID. It comes down to it ain't in shape.
Okay.
Like, it's not in shape. And so the medical companies are leveraging this. They're making money off, COVID. It's not COVID. Guess what? Get your butt up and walk and sweat and don't overeat, and drink water. And if you're going to have a sip of wine, don't drink the whole bottle. And when you get depressed, don't go to drugs, get into the word. It's very simple, man. God's looking down on us and say, look, I've given y'all all the answers.
Right.
We're just so self-absorbed that, we keep having self-inflicting problems. And COVID, again, is killing people because we're not healthy.
Right.
And so when I have a passion for my kids being active. And so, I got to tell them at times, we're getting outside, we're going outside. I mean, it's just, I got 3 kids. I'm not an expert in parenting. I just know it's hard enough for me to get my kids active. God forbid, we're going to go outside and do some ball handling. So if they choose that on their own, that's wonderful. And so I'm fostering that. Now, I would say around 12, 13, my baby girl, my baby boy's got to make a choice. What sport do you want to be great at? Because you got to pick one. And my wife and I love her. Her and I are on the same page. They got to pick one thing, and I want them to do that consistently every week. Realistically, hopefully every day, right? But you got to do it. And so that's our attitude. And we've talked to different successful, people, and they agree. So that's where we're living at. And if God changes that, then fine. I just know that God wants us to have a growth mindset, meaning we grow every year physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. And research has said the true definition of joy is when people learn and grow and get better and give back. That's science-based. So that's, now basketball-wise, I don't know. I mean, ideally, sure, they can start early. Kobe says the earlier you start, the more you're going to master it when you're, older. So if you start at 8, you're going to be an expert at 18. If you start at 16, you're going to be an expert at, 28, 30. So obviously, the earlier you start, the better you're going to be. But, I don't think it's healthy to force 8, 9, 10-year-olds who aren't mature enough to understand about discipline and commitment, because they're going to get burned out, and they're not going to be authentically passionate. They're going to be forced. So it's like, if you make your kids do stuff that they don't want to do, right? It's like, okay, it's like living with a communist. I mean, really, you're living with a dictator. We all know how those countries work out. And I lived in China. I've worked in Russia. You know what I mean? I've spent a lot of time in the Middle East. Man, them people aren't peaceful, happy. They don't think for themselves because they work under, dictators, communism, man. And that's not the spirit of the United States. That's not what God gave us, a will and a choice.
Right. Free will.
And I think the best way to lead and parent is you teach your kids about a choice. You give them a choice. Now, if they're going to self-destruct, obviously you come in and be that communistic parent. No, you ain't doing that.
Right.
Right.
Absolutely.
But you gotta have a balance. You have a balance,
Right.
Wow.
Absolutely.
Hey, Mr. Scott, you got a question? Are you in?
I'm in if you can hear me. I listened to this guy doing all this talk. I say that because we go way back. We go probably back to, I want to say about 2004, 2005 time frame. I think how far back we go. But, one thing I want to say, when I first met Ganon, I noticed that he focused on life lessons over the game. And I thought that was a phenomenal thing because everybody else was just talking about getting out there and playing. And, my first experience with him was we had to find a gym, so we went all the way across the water somewhere. And we ended up, I think we was in Phoenix, and son was had this little, he thought he had his own patented move. He had a little move that he was doing. And then immediately cut out the equation. So I want to see you best food is to spend because you don't want to get the bad habit of
Mr.
doing
Scott, I don't know.
this because it's going to turn into travel.
Mr. Scott.
I don't know if we can hear you. You're going in and out. You sound like a robot. We were
Go. That's what I'm finna say. Go out and come back in.
right. You know, we did technology, man. So
Yeah, I couldn't understand it. Sounded like a good story though. I like to hear it. I want to see what I might have done something stupid. So I want to see what I did.
So in your bio, you talked about invaluable lessons that you had to learn. So do you care to share some of that with us parents?
Yeah, I try to remember the lessons that I learned, as a son with my parents. I guess the biggest lesson I learned is honor your mother and father, but you don't always have to agree with them. And I know that's a little like, what are you talking about? Look, my parents are Hall of Famers, man. I love them unconditionally. Without them, I wouldn't be here. But here's what I mean. I always honored what they said because I acknowledged them. I respected their lessons in the moment, listened to them, didn't interrupt them, but respectfully, I gave my own opinion about what I thought, and I articulated it in a way that didn't break the respect that we had. Like, they're the dad, they're the mom, I'm the son. There's always going to be an honor for their authority. And again, they're my life source. They're one of my life sources, right? I come from God, but I went through them. You know what I mean? And even before I was a Christian, there was a Holy Spirit in me that was just leading me to the right thing. Because again, my Father is in heaven, right? And he sent me to earth through my mom and dad. It's like God sent Jesus through Mary.
That's
Right.
You know what I mean? And there were times where Jesus was like, you my mom and dad, but I got to do this because of my father, So there was
about my father's business. Yes.
Yeah. And so I never forget, I wasn't playing at Hampton High. And a lot of, narrative from my parents, not my parents, but my family. And it might have been from every now and then my dad, but you know what? There might be some racism going on again. There might be some ill will because I was the only white dude in the whole program.
Okay, here.
Are we there?
Okay. Yeah.
So I was the only white dude on my team, 8th grade, 9th grade, 10th grade, 11th grade, 12th grade. Ham High School was 80% African American. So I was a good player. I made Boo Williams teams, all-star, 5-star. I thought I was playing well. I didn't start my junior year. I didn't really play but 1.5 quarters. And so around Christmas, we were both upset. And they're like, look, we got all these high schools wanting you to transfer. You're never going to get a Division I scholarship unless you play. You're a good player. You work hard. He's not playing you. Let's transfer. Well, if you listen to your parents, all right, I'll transfer. Well, that's the easy way out, man. If I'd have transferred, I wouldn't be as authentic and genuine as I am now to tell my story and to teach. Because when I was their age, I gave in to what was easy. I gave into what was comfortable. I couldn't figure it out. And to me, grit is what kids are missing nowadays. And grit is an acronym for greatness resides in toughness. The toughest thing for me to do was stick it out, try to figure out a way to play. And a friend of mine who coaches and is a GM with the LA Clippers, a guy named D Brown, he made a comment to me one day I use all the time now. He said, success is colorblind and gender free. The world is not. Right? The world sees color. The world will put you in a box. The world, treats men and women differently. But success is colorblind and gender free. And I didn't know that at the time, but I told my parents, look, I'm gonna stick this out, man. I'm gonna figure out a way to start and be a part of this winning team. Long story short, I ended up starting the rest of the year, second team, honorable mention All State. We won a state championship. We beat Grant Hill's team. The following year, we went to the state again, came in second, runner up. I had 31 Division I offers. Anyway, my story was written. So that was one time that, you know what, I'm going to honor you, mom and pop, but I ain't listening to you. Fast forward in 2000, I have a master's in education. You know, I just finished playing. I had all these job offers to be a high school coach. I was a college coach for 5 years. I had all these offers to go coach in college again. And I'm like, I like college. I like high school teaching. I love changing the world through basketball. I don't want to be under a system that's going to hold back my holistic gifting. There's things that I can't say and do, whether I believe it or not, working under an NCAA system. And I believe, why should I go work under a system that's going to have a ceiling for me changing lives? Bump that. I'm going to be an entrepreneur. I'm going to eat what I kill. But you know what? I'm going to take my game all over the world with me. I'm not going to be a martyr, mind you. You know what I mean? If they don't want me to preach the word, I won't preach the word. But you guarantee I'm going to use Christ-like principles. You know what I mean? I'm going to let my Holy Spirit, my light shine like the beacon on a hill. You know what I mean? I tell you want me to praise Jesus? All right, I'm going to be salt. I'll be salt. You know what I mean? So I wanted the freedom because I knew I was obedient. I don't know if I'm the best skilled trainer in the world. I know this. I work the hardest and nobody can match my passion. And my truth fears no question. And so that's what I brought when I was young. That's what I bring now. And my parents told me to do something that I liked. And I said, no, I'm going to chase somebody and something that I love. But I respect you, but I'm a grown man. And so I moved out the house, started my business, and they respect and honor me more. I think I'm going to get more money in my will than my brother because of the that I brought. Yeah. You know what I mean? Because my brother was always a safe guy and a yes guy, and I challenged and taught my parents, and they like that. So I'm gonna get a little bit more bread, you know, when they move on to the pearly gate.
You was a prodigal son.
I'm kidding, man. I'm kidding. Yeah, exactly.
Oh man, that is good. Yeah. That is good. Wow. I mean, you giving us some life lessons.
Many lessons, but that's the biggest one. Yeah, but here's the thing: like many kids want that freedom from their parents,
Right?
Cool. But are you obedient?
Yeah.
I mean, like real recognizes real. People feel your passion. People are addicted to your passion. Kids want all the benefits of being disciplined, but they don't have the daily commitment. You know what I mean? They'll tell mom, I want to do this. Mom, I want to do that. You know, cool. Let's see how great you are. And kids don't understand greatness is consistency. If they see a trend and a habit of you, waking up at 5:30 a.m., turning down prompts, not scrolling, right, but taking notes in your free time, they'll give you that. I mean, I never had to pay for any date in my life because they respected my grind and they knew that, you know what, one day he's going to get a $300,000 scholarship. So they funded my dream because I put in sweat equity when I was young. And they respected, they would just shake their head because they had to bring me in at 11 o'clock at night and I was still out there shooting. I never asked them for rides to King Street, the outdoor court you showed me on Instagram. I ran there. They had to pick me up because I was still there. And they saw my commitment. They saw my sacrifice. So I inspired them. So my birthdays, they give me $200. They bought me a car. They were like I was in Shark Tank every day. They invested into me because they were inspired by me. And I always tell kids, look, professionalism is not always chronological, right? You don't turn some 25, 30, oh, now you're a professional. No. Professionalism is maturational. Just Google success stories with kids on the internet You got kids 19, 16 starting business through COVID. I
Yeah.
watched a story that last month on 2020, some kid in New York, made this COVID testing center out of his van, and he
Yeah.
got the attention of Harvard, and he ended up getting a Harvard, scholarship because of that. So that kid's 16, right, chronologically, but professionally, man, he's 46. Like, he's so mature beyond his years. So, that's what I want to tell kids too, man. You can make a difference when you're young. You just gotta have the values of what a winner is.
So, and I'm gonna let Mr. Scott is back in, so let me go ahead and let him come in here and ask some questions. Mr. Scott, you're on mute. Okay, see if it's better now.
I guess it must be better now. Living out here in the sticks, it happens like that from time to time. You know how that is. That's just how it is. But when you're
Yeah.
out further enough where you're away from everybody else, I had to come out and sit in the car to get away from everybody else just to get a chance to talk. It don't even make no sense. But anyway, hey, we totally applaud the great job that you have done, and working with all the kids throughout the years. The question that I have for you, and it's probably a question that I've probably been scratching my head. How do you maintain that high level of energy? I'm not
Mm,
sure if y'all covered that yet,
yes,
because let me say this, ladies. Let me say this. I When I first met him, he was doing individual trainings. Few years later, I run into him again. I take my youngest son, now who's old enough to play a little basketball or acting like he's playing basketball. Never got around to it really, but he act like it. Uh, we're in a gym over at Westland, and he's having session after session after session and maintaining that energy for
mm,
all 3 sessions because he had a little kid session, transition later on, some older kids came in, and then after that moved into the high school kids. Now, here's the kicker. Okay, I probably could have did it myself for one session for one day, but he did it for the whole week. And when I walk in the door at the beginning of his session, or whether or not I come back through and drop some other young men's off or whatever, he's still at it. So how do you maintain that high level of energy, brother?
Uh, well, Mike, man, you're very kind. I think that was at Virginia Wesleyan because your son, who was going to Virginia, worked the camp, and I
Yes,
hadn't
sir.
seen him in a year or two, and I was amazed at the transformation he had, the maturity, and I was like, oh yeah, that kid's gonna be a pro. And then so seeing Mike, old Mike versus young Mike Jr., it gave me confidence that what I'm doing, maybe it's helping. I had a little bit to do with it, but not much. But it's like, man, he turned out all right. I didn't break him. I didn't scare him. And so you hit the nail on the head, man. Like most coaches, if they don't have anything, please have energy. And the synonym for energy is love, is care, is intensity, is passion. But once you have that, the second thing you got to have is intelligence. You can't just have energy because you get the kids strong, but they got to play smart. And you can't just have intelligence because if they're smart, they got to play strong. So with me, back in 2000, even now, kids are so hard to teach and coach and parent. And if you don't have energy, you're just not going to make a difference. If you train pros, you don't have to have energy. It helps. It gets them. But you're talking about impressionable 8 to 22-year-olds. They're at the height of their stupidity. They're at the height of their ignorance. They have so many distractions coming at them, but they're impressionable. Man, they're impressionable. The good book says, train a child in the way he or she should go, and they will never defer from that. So, God has a special place for you if you foster orphans and you give back to the young. That's one of the reasons why my wife and I adopted a young African American little girl, because we know we were impacting the kingdom. That's something spiritual about raising young kids. So to do that, you've got to have. I've never seen a successful single mom. I've never seen a successful parent. I've never seen a successful teacher, nor a grassroots coach that didn't have energy. And when I played, being 6 foot, and to play mid-major D1 and to go play in Europe and Iceland, the odds of that was like 0.001%. So I'll beat 99.99% of the people out there that doubted me to go do something great. And the reason was I had energy. I wasn't scared. What I mean? I was tough. And so when I coached, I said, you know what? I got to have that same spirit. I love the game. I'm anointed to teach the game, right? And so that is something that you can model. You can transfer energy. I've seen it happen. And so how do I get it? I mean, it's a gift. It's a gift. I try to foster it with 8 hours sleep, gallon of water a day. PP is clear, as you heard me tell the kid. I eat healthy, and I'm in the Word. I'm in the Word, and with the Word comes, I've always done this, and when I didn't, it got me in trouble. But there's 24 hours in a day, man. I am spending time with people that I love and that loves me, and I'm trying to do things that I love, right? I mean, that's it. Who do you love? Who loves you? And what do you love? That gives you energy. If you with people that are draining you, you do don't like, man, that drains you. So you know what? If I got to live in an apartment with 2 bedrooms, that's cool, right? It might be inconvenient, but we're going to be happy. And I tell my kids that. Now, we live on the beach in a nice house and all that, and that's something nice about that. But I'm telling you, I will go broke, but be happy. And that's my attitude, man, because I want to do something I love. I love teaching the game. I love helping people's spirit and life be better. I love speaking life into people. But to do that, I got to read. I got to study. So I love learning. I have a growth mindset. Mr. Scott, man, my vocabulary has exponentially increased since I met you, man. So, I look at myself in those videos. I'm like, man, I've been doing. Research says that if you read 52 books, you're a doctor. And so I'm like freaking 4 doctors over, man. Like, I've been reading and studying so much I know. And again, we talk about trainers. If you want to be a good trainer, be educated, man. Don't sound like you are at a nightclub and doing, like, be educated, man. There's a time and a place to have slang and let your guard down, but you have to articulate, enunciate, educate, enhance. Words create your world. So when I first started out in coaching, I wasn't into that, and I'd gotten a master's. But over the years, I'm glad that God revealed that my mind has to be better if I want their mind, who I'm coaching, to go to another place. And so you can only rise above the level of information you have, right? You can't rise to another level if you don't have that information. And so I use the information age for me in a positive way and not a negative.
So, Coach, what scriptures you will use to elevate your mind, to have the mind of Christ?
Whatever is pure, whatever is right, whatever is honest, whatever is righteous, think of those things.
Think on me.
Dwell on those things.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Another one that I use is, God did not give me a spirit of timidity, but of power, love, and a sound mind.
That's it.
Okay. Another one that I use is greater is he who is in
The-
me than he who is in the world.
okay.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the devil came to lie, steal, and destroy, but I can give you life and to live it more
Right.
abundantly. So the
Right.
best thing for me that I do, that I try to make it habitual, is every morning, whether it's 6:30 or 7 or 7:30, I try to have solitude time
Okay.
where I pray, worship music, and then I have my journal and I read a scripture. I don't follow everybody, but there's three dudes that are my spiritual mentors, and I only listen to these guys: Stephen Furtick, T.D. Jakes, and Ron Carpenter Jr. And so I'll listen to a sermon or see a quick email from them, and I'm constantly keeping notes. And the one thing I'm trying to get better at is memorize scripture, and recite it, review it, repeat
Yeah.
it all during the year. And, renew my mind, renew my heart,
Yeah.
create a loyal spirit within me, and
Yeah.
meditate, because there's power into that. And I'm not
Right.
good at that yet. But I think one thing that helps me coach with clarity, because see, to be a great coach or leader, you got to have clarity, you got to have correctness, right? And you got to have conviction.
Mm-hmm.
And if you do that, you teach in a flow. You're like Drake. You're out there flowing. You're poetic. Because leaders
Yeah.
and coaches don't coach in paragraphs. The kids' attention level's too low. Plus, pros don't want you to talk a lot. They want bullets. Give me a word, coach. Give me a phrase. I got it. You know what I mean? They're not idiots. And you got to treat kids the same way. Sometimes we give too much stuff and the kids become robots. They don't figure it out for themselves. Great coaches not only teach what to think, but how to think. And so to do that, you gotta have your spirit clear. You can't be too distracted. You gotta be organized in your mind. And my solitude, quiet time is it for me. That's what does it.
That's good. That's good, Coach. Coach, one thing I noticed about you is you are reachable. So here it is that you're training these high elite athletes that probably could pay you millions of dollars, but yet here you are still training our kids. And so I love the fact that you make yourself available to everybody, not just a particular group of people, but everybody. And I loved. I saw the video of you just pointing to your kids. I saw in your thing that you make sure you have a constant life related lesson that's a part of your training. So it's more than basketball. You're trying to impact these kids to do something great to their lives. Can you comment on that?
That's a great question. Number one, let's not get it twisted. A lot of these pros they don't pay guys like me millions of dollars. I don't care how good you are. There's only one player development coach in the NBA that's ever made more than $1 million just coaching skills, and his name is Tim Gergerich. And most skill development guys in the NBA make $125,000, which is great, right? Which is great. I make a lot more than that running my business. You know what I mean? Just personally. Most coaches in the NBA make $450,000, $950,000 as an assistant. So the whole title of player development coach is not respected. Because honestly, these guys should be able to work themselves out if they want to be great. I did it growing up. A lot of us, Mr. Scott did it. Like a lot of, honestly, man, and this might hurt some people's businesses, and if it hurts mine, great. I don't, but a lot of these kids don't need us. They don't need us, man. That's what your dad's for. That's what YouTube's for. That's what your high school coach is for. That's what Boo Williams is for. Like, the only reason I've been successful is that there are a lot of bad coaches out there. Parents look at me and like, man, I wish my coach would work that hard. I wish my coach had that energy. Mr. Scott, I wish my coach would work hard 7, 8 hours straight. Well, that's what you're supposed to do. I'd be doing this whether I got paid or not, right? The
But
public customers determine whether I'm gonna be in business. And so my point is, look, the reason why I did what I did is because you get bored with the same if I just worked out girls, that'd be a little boring. I get tired of that. If I just worked out Americans, look, I'm gonna work out everybody, and it's gonna be fun, and it's gonna be fresh. Now it's hard because wherever I go, I gotta set culture, and I do the same thing. 2 claps. I got 3 rules. PP clear. You get water. So it's the same thing. But I love it because that's a new kid, and I can save his life. I can change his life. I can plant a seed in his life in 1 hour that will blossom at some point whenever the Lord wants it to in 10 years. And so,
That's right.
Again, I wasn't anointed. I wasn't anointed to be a full-time NBA coach. Now, I've gotten offers: 2007 Celtics, 2011 Wizards, 2013 Wizards, 2015 Suns G League. So I've gotten offers, and then when my kids move out the house in 18 years, I might do that. But I am anointed to do what I'm doing, and that's train 8, that's train 28, that's train Western Hemisphere, Eastern Hemisphere, North America, South America, and it's fun. And not many people can do that. Not because they're not good enough, it's just because they're just not anointed. And I mean, there's things that other people can do that I'll never be able to do, right? But there's things that I do that you can try it, but you're not anointed. And if you try it, you're gonna break because you're out of your gifting, you're out of your purpose.
Yeah.
So I've never lost my energy. I've never lost my love. I'm still 1 hour, 6 hours. I'm in it because I know what I'm meant to do. I know what I was made for.
So did you like at night just dream about it? I saw your hands. You was moving, and did you like move in your sleep? How did you just settle your mind down?
I sleep hard. Yeah. I have some glasses of wine. I watch. I have boundaries where most of the time after 7 o'clock, I'm not thinking about anything but my kids and my wife, and so. But it's hard. I've had to have a balance. I've had to work on keeping my mind off. Getting better at basketball and what can I teach tomorrow? That's a coach. A coach is always thinking about the next game, program. That's why they're great. That's a great question to ask any Mr. Scott's son, Mike. Hey man, you're a great player. You had to work hard to stick in the NBA. How do you turn your head off? So for me, it's my family, it's my faith, it's my wife. I work so hard during the day, man. I don't have trouble sleeping because if I'm stressed, I get on my knees. Hey God, this is yours, man.
Yeah.
You said, don't worry about anything, pray about everything. Look, this is yours. I'm not taking it with me to bed. And I talk to him like that. I might even say, look, dog, I'm not going to bed with this, man. This is you because I can't get rid of it. Please take it from me. I'm out. Love you. Peace, Papa. Like I talk to him like that. I don't do what Catholics.
I love it.
I grew up in a Catholic church. I grew up being Episcopalian acolyte. Y'all got you. That's cool. But I'm not doing, our Father who art in heaven. Like I don't talk to my real dad like that. Why would I talk to Jesus like that, man? I'm talking to him like I'm talking to my friends.
It's so
big fella.
cold.
You know what I mean?
Come on
And
now.
you know what?
Come
And TD Jake says the same thing.
Yes.
So I'm like, man, dude, like TD believes that, then I'm good because I know he's closer to God than I'll ever be. You know what I mean? So anyway, I just go to sleep right away, and it's something that before I went to my career, again, I read The Purpose-Driven Life. I didn't know after playing, I didn't know whether I wanted to go back to coaching in college but But I guess the idea came when I went to 5-star. Boo Williams took me to 5-star at 15 years old. And I said, man, it'd be great if I could coach at 5-star all year long and do a 5-star as a business because I love the camp as a player. So I guess at 15, the seed was planted. At 18, I went back to coach as a summer job, playing the counselor leagues, coach during the day, make a little money, summer job. And, 1991, I was like, hey, maybe I can start my own 5-star when I finish.
Wow. All the questions I wanted to ask you, like, he just summed it up. Like, oh my God. Everything. Like, I don't know what to ask you now. You read like you.
Hey, I'm dropping the mic on
like,
that.
Yeah, like the Holy Spirit
I'm dropping
was
the
like,
mic. That's good.
Go. She finna ask you this. Go ahead and answer it. Yeah, because I come with it. But you literally answered.
I had one question for you guys because that's the only reason I went on is because I get tons of podcast requests and I love doing them. Obviously, we help people, but I can't do them all. But and my business team said, hey, you responded to this right away. Why? I was like, man, you gotta have a mad respect for sport moms, man. Like that is awesome. So my question to you guys is, in the training industry, right? You get tons of trainers now. You got 18 trainers living right next to you in your neighborhood. What's the biggest problem with them that people are having?
And I'm glad you asked that because my son is now a trainer. He's 24, and it's like he finally realized he actually started out playing football, and he went to a D2 college, but then that didn't work out. So now it's like he's right there saying, okay, this is my passion, coaching, trainer. So and that's what I wanted to ask you. I'm glad you brought that up because he's young. And it's like I'm sorry if I got to put it back on you, but it's like, so you have young trainers, and for me, what I see, I believe the older, and this is my opinion, some of them either get intimidated or they don't respect the young instead of teaching them, because they young, they don't, they coming in, so they're learning. So I think it's our responsibility to, try to. Can't see y'all.
Okay.
Okay, sorry, somebody calling, but so my son, he's a trainer, and that's crazy that you asked that, but what I see from the outside, some, not all, but it's the respect thing, and is it that he got to earn it because he's young, and then I don't know, but that's back to you, Coach.
Before you get started, Gannon, let me jump in real quick before you get started, because I know you're gonna answer the question most directly. But one thing that I want to say about Gannon, I still to this day tell other parents the same thing. If your trainer or your coach or whoever it is not able to demonstrate the movement the way that he wants you to perform it, then you need another trainer. And that's something that I've learned from him from day one when he started working with my son. It wasn't just he telling why I want you to lay the ball up with your left hand, I want you to lay the ball up with your right hand. No, he demonstrates it. He shows it. Game speed. And if that coach or that trainer is not able to do that, then you need to move on, because that guy probably got something hanging around his waist, probably big as a cake, and he probably can't do those moves no more. So you need to move on from that person. Go ahead, Gannon. I'm sorry.
Coach.
No, Mike. I mean, you and I should go around the country, and do conferences, man.
Yeah.
Seriously. But Koshika, with the utmost respect, because now, because of COVID, my business has transitioned into 50% The revenue now is coming in from mentoring. So I went from mentoring players to, I still do that, but now like we're gonna go full steam ahead with mentoring coaches because it's a problem. You know, NCAA, NABC, off the record, they don't want high school, middle school, any AAU to train with trainers because they don't respect them. They don't know what they're doing. They're money grabbing. Fact. Do your own research. Like that comes from the top. USAB created all these programs because it's gotten out of hand. And it all comes down to, of course, a lot of kids don't respect the trainer. That's not the problem. Problem is, write this down, send it to your son, send it to everybody that's going to, a so-called young trainer, right? They don't respect themselves. The trainers don't respect themselves. The trainers don't have convictional truth. The trainers, like, and here's why. Number one, who taught you how to teach and coach? Who poured into you to show you how to coach and teach and to run a business? What qualifies you to charge X, Y, and Z to train my son? Well, I played the game. Cool. What level? What kind of player were you? Oh, I averaged 20 points. No. Were you the first to the gym, the last to leave? Did you keep a notebook? Were you coachable? And again, that's just scratching the surface. All right, now you're a coach. Right? Just because you're a player doesn't mean you're going to be a great coach. Have you taken teaching lessons? Have you studied behavioral strategies to connect with adolescents, adults? What are the trends now, physically and mentally? What are developmentally appropriate strategies to teach young kids in motor development?
Right.
Are you CPR certified? How do you teach a kid that underestimates their talent, that overestimates their talent, that's depressed, that's short? What if you have a parent that doesn't believe you? What if you have a kid during a workout that says F you physically? Like all of these strategies, I've been studying since I was 18. That's when I first started coaching. Now, as a player, I was a gym rat. I went to camps. I had a basketball notebook. So it was a little easier for me to coach because I was a gym rat. However, guys play football. Now they want to be a basketball skill trainer. Cool. Do you write a curriculum first or do you build your IG page? You got free time. You out there, you out there hanging out with people telling you, y'all gonna be this, y'all making bank, or you going watching a really good high school coach and grilling him with 20 quality questions that's gonna build your quality philosophy.
Right. But
how
that's
much
not
money
the case.
have you invested?
Yeah. Now that's not the case.
How much money
I know where y'all going.
Has you invested into your education to be like a lot of these trainers out there don't want to spend money on learning from others or even time to go watch a good coach because they don't have that growth mindset. And if you did that, you'd have no problem with respect. You have no problem with the majority of kids that you train, you connect with. So again, I'm not perfect, but over 90% of the kids that I've trained, I've connected with. I've given them problem solving strategies. And if the kid just didn't listen and I couldn't reach him, I was honest. I'd even give money back at times and say, you know what? This kid ain't got it. Ma'am, take him to another trainer or find him another sport because I can't reach him. So I treated my clients not like customers. Customers in my business aren't always right. Right? You treat them like they're your kids. You treat them with unconditional love. And then you be honest. After 3 months, if you can't make a difference, then tell them. And then you self-evaluate. What do I have to work on as a coach physically, mentally, emotionally?
Right.
And it's because coaching is a profession. It's not a title. Right? It's something that you have to study, just like any other profession. But unfortunately, in skill training, it's a no barrier entry. Anybody can do it. right? And so that's fact that these young trainers aren't getting poured into, nor do they want to be poured into, and they aren't qualified yet because they don't know how to teach.
So when do you get
Let's
qualified?
go! Let's go! Let's go!
When? Yes, you right. Come on with it. So when do you get qualified? Because that's what I'm saying. Like right now. Now you're saying coaching and training, but I'm saying when you are called, just like you found out that you was called, that was your purpose. So now you got to still get the teaching. You can still got to be skilled. So when do that start? Like right now, you start young, right?
That's a great question. That's a great
When
question.
Did you start? You say you started at 18 coaching?
I started to learn how to coach at 18.
At 18.
And then
when did you master? When did you master?
Never. I've never mastered. I'm still
So
learning.
you're having mastered.
I'm never going to be a master.
So you never mastered.
I'm an expert.
Because this your purpose. Okay. Because this your purpose.
I'm an expert. I'm an expert because of all the time. But I'll never be a master until the day I die.
What you do.
That's just me. Yeah, I'm not a master because I got a kid staying with me now that don't listen to me. So I'm not a master, you know what I mean?
Okay.
But I'm an expert because I know a lot of stuff. It's not a basketball question that you can ask me that I don't have a good answer to. My truth fears nothing, and it works. Now, I would say this. For me, I started coaching at 18. I got a professional job, Division I, college job at 23. So 5 years.
Okay.
5 years.
And that's enough time to.
But I started my business in 2000, and after 12 months, I had a full-time job. So my qualification came from the players, Denby High School, Denby JV, Hampton Hoyas, all these players that I've been training, right? I convinced the parents to train with me twice a week. Mr. Scott saw results. If Mr. Scott didn't see results with his son, he wouldn't keep bringing them.
Right.
So what qualifies me right now to be, I guess, a guru is I did my work every day, every week, every month, every year. I added tools to my toolbox. I looked at it as a craft.
Okay.
The problem nowadays is these trainers, they build their social media marketing platforms first. Instead of building their philosophy, building their curriculum. So they got to stay in that second job, or they got to live with their parents a couple more months. I did that. I lived with my parents until I was ready for me to organize my teaching. I organized my teaching before I organized my Twitter. I was focused on the kid and not catering, so they would come back and keep paying me. I just look, I'm gonna coach you real. If it works, I'm on to something. If it doesn't work, I'm gonna be disappointed because I don't know how to fake it. I'm a coach. You know, I focus on the player not being popular. I focused on getting them better and not the byproducts of celebrity trainer, Nike contract, being on TV, traveling first class, going, you know what I mean, like training, you know, going to NBA parties and all that comes with the territory. But again, it's hard for young trainers because they get sucked in, man. Instagram, like it's the devil, man. It's fake.
Yeah.
And so they, you know, it takes a special coach. It takes a special coach to do it the right way in today's social media information age. It's hard. A lot of distractions. A lot of people now, a lot of trainers now don't even know who I am. And that's okay. I'm not fighting to be popular. All we do is get our message out we're still in business. I mean, if you want to train, like the GOAT said, Michael Jordan, you want to train the right way, cool. If you don't want to train that way, don't train. Michael Jordan,
Yeah.
you want to play my way, then play. If you don't want to play that way, don't play. Drop the mic. He got teary-eyed because he got criticized for being who he was from his teammates, from the organization. He was too harsh. He was a bully. And Jordan's like, that's the only way I know how. And if y'all listen to me, I'm going to take y'all to the promised land. And he did. And they respected him for it. That's why he's the GOAT.
Man.
So for the young
So
trainers,
that's what I'm like. Look, you want to do it the right way? Educate, man.
Yeah.
Educate.
So for the young trainers, you need to find you a mentor, you know, someone that's coaching already, and, you know, even getting on the sidelines, you know, coaching, you know, volunteering, you know, because I always believe you should volunteer your gift first. Don't, you know, then it'll make room for you.
Exactly.
Your gift will make room for you.
Well, you get
yeah,
you got to get reps. Just like a player. You want to be a better shooter? Shoot. You want to be a better, stronger player? Get in the weight room. Like coaches got to get reps, and these young coaches, they ain't got a lot of reps yet. And so, of course, they're going to struggle with connecting and growing and feeling that peace. And when I was
that's what I see.
A lot of guys didn't like what I was doing. Yeah. So you just got to keep believing. You know, basically it's study, man. Like a lot of these trainers, they don't have a curriculum. How do you teach on ball? How do you teach occupational movement? How do you teach how to post up, where to post up, why to post up? How do you teach a dribble move? What's your shooting philosophy? And I mean, these trainers don't have X, Y, and Z for the most skill sets. What's good team offense? How do you motivate a kid that's short? How do you motivate a kid that's elite? Like, it's just, again, it's a constant grind, but, you know, you get what you pay for to me. You get what you pay for. If you only train $20, then you shouldn't worry if parents don't like you. It's only $20 an hour. But if you pay $250 an hour, like I charge, then you know what? You're going to get that. You're going to get that. Why? Because you don't see the time that I've spent. And if you do what I say, you get a $250,000 scholarship if things fall into place. Injury, timing, talent. No guarantees, but you know, you have the conviction as a trainer to have a mentality and a swag that is just addictive to people because of the investment, man. You're like, I've been playing this game since I was 8. And so that's what I bring. If people want the same thing, and you played football growing up, or you got cut from your team, but you like skill training because it's popular and it's a trend, cool. You better get started. You better be like the hip hop preacher. Sleep is for broke people. And he wasn't talking about money. People have a broke mindset. You better live off 3 hours sleep. You better get your reps in because you got a lot of catching up to do if you want to sustain it. And people can say, look, Ganon, you're
study
expensive.
your craft.
Yeah, study your craft. But, you know, they can say, hey, you're expensive. That's cool. You know, you make a decision. And it's a ministry for me. If somebody can't afford me, I always say, what can you afford? I'll work with you.
Wow.
And then you find out, like that's bad business advice that I was told. You know, people tell me, hey, that's bad business. Well, I don't run a business. I have a legacy.
Ministry.
It's a ministry. Well, what can you afford? And if they pull up in an Escalade, oh no, you're gonna get the real rate. You're gonna have to sell it. And I had that. I had a mom say I can't afford $50 an hour for an individual at Kickingham High School, Mr. Scott. She pulls up in an Escalade and she paying me $10 an hour. I'm like, no, you got to sell those rims.
Yeah, because you know you got people. Yeah, you got.
And I'm real, and I tell them that.
Yeah, they don't want to pay. No, you seriously though. You got people that just don't want to pay.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So you got to watch out.
But you respect, and then you respectfully you educate them.
Right.
And
that's right.
Just give them research.
Right.
And like this is a fact. 80% of millionaires spend at least 15% on self-educating themselves to be better.
Right.
Wow.
Not tithing, like so They might tithe, and they spent, like Ron Carpenter Jr. said that. He said, I spend 10% to the Lord, and I go 10% seed, and I spend another 10% on educating myself. That's 30% that he gives away to get. So if you want something out of something, you have to determine what are you going to put into it.
Yeah.
And that concept is foreign to the elite grassroots basketball. Parents are, honestly, they don't want to pay for nothing, especially elite players. My experience with a lot of NBA players, they don't want to pay full price, which is cool. You know, you got to come up with different strategies if you want to be in that world full time.
Yeah.
But like, look, you have to pay something. You have to wash my car. You're gonna have to invest. I'm not training you for free unless I feel called.
Right.
You know what I mean? Unless I feel called. And you got to speak with conviction and boldness, and check in with your maker and pray on it and say, look, man, if there's anything offensive in my heart and in my mind, root it out, Lord. But I just, you know what? I don't want to train that family for free. They got to pay something, man. They gotta the mindset of human economics now is unreal. Like, people don't respect the economic value of a human nowadays. Man, they don't.
Yeah.
They don't. And we need to teach that. Like, people have value. Guys feed their families on this, and you want free? Oh,
yeah. You won't be able to eat.
No. Yeah, I'm not training you.
Right. Now let me
get
ask
what
you
you
this.
pay for.
Will your coaching cross all sports, or is just geared towards basketball when you do your training for coaches?
The physical is basketball, but what I teach mentally, emotionally, and spiritually is across the board.
You can take across the board. Yeah, that's good. And back to your question about what the things that we look at when we get trainers. I like trainers that can do more than train. I like trainers that can impart wisdom, the things they experience through their lives, and how they come back and give it back to that person that they're training. I love that because, sometimes our kids don't listen to us, but they will listen to somebody else. And so if you have that trainer that is imparting wisdom and seed into your kid, then that I think that's a good trainer.
Yeah, not 100%. I mean,
whether
whether that trainer had a bad experience. Go ahead, Mike.
I was just going to add to that. One thing that we also have to remember is that trainer, once that trainer gets into that mode of training and have that audience or have that group of kids, all eyes is on him. And if he's not setting the best possible example through his own works, then he's going to be exposed. I had a guy come to me at the rec center, and he talked a good game as far as basketball was concerned. But as I look at him, if I seen him walking down the street and he asked me for a dime so he could make a phone call in the nearest payphone booth, I may hesitate. Just because he didn't present himself with that, I'm an honest type person, I'm a true person to what I'm saying. I'm asking you for this dime, not to add to this 90 cent that I already got in my pocket so I can go over here and buy this other thing that I shouldn't be doing in the first place. But I really and truly need to make that phone call. So if you got a trainer that's not setting the best possible example, then you may want to move on from him or her.
Yeah.
And to add to that, Ganon's philosophy, and I'm not saying this, and we haven't talked about this or anything of that nature, transcends two other sports. So just like you were saying, Kwaska, with your son, him and sitting down talking to Ganon and just getting some philosophy from Ganon, I think that'd be a powerful move.
Okay. Yeah, and that's what I was saying. Like, they need mentors. coming up. Like, because seriously, you can have your purpose, you can still have that gift, but you still need to know how to stir it up. You still need to know the skill set. You still need to work it. You just, and so, yeah, you just need somebody that's positive and for you. Because I'm telling you, it's a lot of
Yeah.
intimidation out there. He ain't told me that. I see it because I'm older. And so, with that being said, I was just wondering, how can you help those that are coming up, that's young and that's really trying to do it the right way? Honestly, that really don't have that mentor uh, person to go to. Absolutely.
Um, that's a great question, and they're out there.
Yeah.
It's a trend now. People, and I'll just say it. People see what I'm doing in the industry, and they just follow suit. And since COVID, if you followed me since, we've been doing free mentorship, and so a lot of our platforms are free. And then if you
Good.
go to another level, then you have to pay for what you want
Right.
there. A guy named Phil Handy. This is his shirt. Be your own GOAT. He's the assistant coach for the LA Lakers. He answers almost every message. Like, you just got to reach out, and once you get 100 no's, there will be that one yes.
Yes.
There's a guy. There's a guy that mentors guys all the time for free. He's a world champion. Coach for the Detroit Pistons. I talk to him almost once a week. He mentors guys for free. So, but you got to dig, man. There's a reason why treasure in the field, as Jesus said, is in the dirt. Because if it was out in the open, it'd be easy to get. If people want that treasure, they got to get dirty. They got to go through confusion and inconvenience and frustration and pain and fatigue. They got to go through that battle. That battle is, I'm ignorant. I don't know. My mom knows. She can tell me, but I got experience for myself. For me, I knew I wasn't ready to train pros in 2004 when Mr. Scott Elton Brown played at Warwick. His agent called me. He was going to the league, played at Virginia. I trained him. I could have done a better job. I'm like, I need to know how to train pros. I searched out John Lucas. I stayed at John Lucas's place 3 weeks. He put me at the La Quinta Inn. The dude, my roommate, was a player smoking weed. Different woman in his room every night. I ended up sleeping in my car because that was uncomfortable. I mean, but you know what? This is what I need to do to learn. He put me with the worst work ethic, guys with the worst work ethic. Big Baby Davis, J.R. Smith, Stevie Francis was there. He didn't want to work that week, but and I was like, Coach, man, they ain't listening to me. Ganon, figure it out. You're a coach. Confront. That's what you do. You confront. Wrong, you praise right. Go. I'm like, come on, fella. You go through uncomfortableness to get to being great. That's a journey. Everybody got a battle. Everybody got a battle that has his eyes set on a victory. So, these young trainers are ain't stupid. You go to school, get a degree in teaching, but do it from a life perspective. I got classes. There's other mentorships out there. Worst case, go to a good coach that can teach skills and say, how do I teach kids physically, mentally, emotionally? And start from there and add tools. Figure out what's basketball, basics, moves and counters, and then team concepts. Offensively, again, make a decision. I don't teach defense. You come to me, it's all offensive work. Well, Gannon, you don't know defense? Yeah, fool. I know defense because how do you think I teach offense? I teach offense by knowing what the defense does. 8 ways to guard a ball screen. 5 ways to guard a guy closing out. Come on, man. But I just focus on teaching the offense. So you got to have clarity. You can't teach everything. Again, it's to me, it was a no-brainer because I grew up with teachers. I grew up 8 teams, but I guess these trainers that don't know have to ask quality questions, have to study people that have a dream and a goal. I mean, if the only dude that is the hip-hop preacher, that's the only feed that you follow. Just follow people that can tell you how to get there. And then the greatest one that can tell you is Lord Almighty. Romans 12 changed my life. That whole scripture changed. Like we're all given
That's one of
gifts.
the scriptures. Yeah.
12
That's one of
6.
the scriptures when I talked about the mind. Well, no, Romans 12, 1 and 2 about the mind. Scriptures about, reprogramming your mind and
Yep.
Yeah. But who is the
Romans
hip hop
12.
preacher?
That's Eric. Eric
Eric.
Thomas.
Oh,
I don't
Eric
know his last
Thomas is
name.
the hip hop preacher.
That's right.
I love him. I love him.
Yeah.
Because he's a college professor, but he can relate to people that aren't educated.
Right.
They don't have. He can relate to people. He has a big vocabulary, but he doesn't use it.
Right.
At times, he can relate. He's got a gift.
Right.
And he makes sense. Like
right.
These young cats can go watch him for a couple hours and say, "Yep, that's what I got to do with basketball."
Right.
I mean, it's like my parents who really aren't really Christ-like Christians that love Jesus could go watch T.D. Jakes and be like, "Oh, okay, that's what Jesus is about. That makes sense."
Yeah. Right.
I mean, you just got people that can speak that are really educated, but can get down on
can relate,
human levels,
transparent,
and speak into them. Transparent, speak into them. So, I mean, to me, it's like if you want something bad enough, you'll figure out how to do it the right way.
So we have a question. Do you require? Okay. Do you require your players to read books that will help their game and character on and off the court?
100%. Yeah, all the time.
And then I had another question from a kid named Chris. He said, "How did you get inspired to train professional athletes?"
Good question.
That's a great question. It's the best league, in the world. NBA, WNBA, FIBA. It's the best league in the world, and I wanted to train the best so that I could see, number one, if I could help them, and number two, learn from them. A lot of times I train pros now so I can learn from them. There's some amazing young pros that are just so gifted that they teach me.
Now, what about
it was a challenge,
the sacrifices that
that?
These elite players do, the sacrifices of, not being able to go to the family reunions and all these type of things in order to become an elite player. Is there a thin line? Or I mean, if you want to be the best, that just comes along with the territory.
When you say elite player, do you mean grassroots or pro?
Pro players. I say that because my sister, she, like my nephew, he started training at the age of 5, and he was training and all the way up, and so he missed the family events and all that kind of stuff, and so I'm just saying, do elite players, is that what it takes to become an elite player?
Unfortunately, yeah, to an extent. If you're already an NBA or WNBA, I mean, they own you. You're getting paid 7, 8, 9, 9-figure contracts. You gotta go. You're obligated to that organization. If you're in high school or middle school, you don't have to go to all these events. I know Boo tells you, or DFW tells you but you don't have to go. You're gonna go to college where you want. Nike is still gonna.
Yeah.
Boo or DFW. I played for Boo, so I mean that's the best AAU program in the world. What are you talking about? Boo Williams, man. He's in the Hall of Fame.
Never mind.
How many other AAU programs?
She thought you were talking about something else.
Boo, no Boo.
Oh, okay. No, yeah.
I mean,
Marcellus Williams.
Marcellus.
You were talking about your purpose, and how do you know, as far as God and an elite player, as far as sacrificing for your family and creating balances, how do you juggle? How do an athlete juggle all of that?
I would say ask Steph Curry, because he's a professed Christian and he's probably one of the best to ever do it. David Robinson, who played for San Antonio. I would ask one of them, but I can tell you that as an NBA player, you probably have 5, 6 hours, 7 hours a day with your team. So you sleep 8 hours, 9 hours. I mean, you got plenty of time to get into the Word. You got plenty of time to have time for the good Lord. You might not always go to your home church, but you can get into church. Family's different. That's what a sacrifice is from the time, 22 to, let's say, 32, 33. You might want to make a decision to start a family late. I know I did. I decided to start family. I had a kid, my first kid at 41. So I'm 48 now. Mike, I 10% body fat, Mike. I still got it, man. Still can go, man. 10%. 10% body fat. But anyway,
who you remind me of?
You're going to sacrifice family.
Who was that? Adam? No.
David.
Sarah. Was it David? Yeah, David.
But as we talk about that,
there's always.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead, Ganon.
No. Scott, coach.
I just said there's always going to be sacrifices made with Family's always going to take a hit with any professional athlete. It's part of the culture.
Yeah. You had a question. Will you say something, Scott? Coach Scott?
Well, I think when we talk about elite athletes, we have to have a clear separation. When you talk about a kid that hasn't made it to high school and beyond, is that kid really at that point really considered an elite athlete? And I think that kid still needs to have that balance in life.
Right.
Because without that balance, they have a tendency to tip over real easy. Mm-hmm. And what I mean by that is, if you're constantly grinding, and somebody has pumped into your head that you need to be in the gym, 5, 6 hours a day, 6 days a week, take 1 day off for rest, and you doing that for, a full year, 365 days, somewhere along the line, you're going to be, one, susceptible to injuries because you ain't worked on no other muscles but those same muscles that you use to grind with. So you don't have that balance. You don't have that balance as far as mental stability because of the simple fact that you don't have a time to sit back, relax, and breathe for a second. And as a result, you have a tendency to be overworked, and now you don't see your goal at the end of the tunnel. And so as a result, what ends up happening, kids burn out. So you got to watch it when we talk about 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10-year-old kids. They got to enjoy themselves first and understand who they are and understand their level of intensity, their level of success and their purpose. Have fun with it and develop as Ganon mentioned a whole lot of times, develop that true love for the game. And once they develop that true love for the game and not the passion of the parents, then you'll get a better result. That's just a personal experience I've dealt with.
That's good.
Great point.
He said, not the passion of the parents.
Yeah, I've been guilty of that, and you talk in your training, you were saying about, yarning and motivation to get them. I mean, I was scheduling the camps, saying, wake up, go do this. I was doing it all for my son. And so I probably was out of line, and so that might be one thing that we as parents need to look at when we're doing all of that. Then they probably really don't want to play the sport. or they want us to move out the way.
Yeah.
I think with my experience, it was when my kids was growing up and playing football. Of course, they played with the little league, but anything extra, it was just like I believe they had like the Deion Sanders camp or something going on, and it was. I remember one time, my oldest made it, but it was so expensive. We was like, shoot, you finna get ready to play middle school football. I mean, I don't know. Is it that we just think that if they go into these camps or these extra stuff that it's gonna make them better when they really just need to enjoy middle school football, high school football. Now, when you get in high school, you can go to different camps, colleges, and stuff like that. But sometimes we do go overboard and we try to pay money to. Oh, we got Deion Sanders camp over here. Or we got somebody camp over here. The name ring a bell. Come on out of here. And so at the end of the day, I mean, it may be good, but at the end of the day, is it worth it? It's just too much.
And you kind of said that on that video when you went back to and you showed the video of the YMCA, and you was like you started right here, and every day grinding at the YMCA, and it wasn't about going to tournaments and showcases and stuff. It was like
She paused. Hey.
Oh,
I don't know what happened.
she left.
She'll be back out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's I guess the last comment. I got to head on out. I got a 5 a.m. wake up.
Okay. Well, go ahead and give us
Gotcha,
your last
brother.
words.
I figure you was winding down. You got kind of quiet.
Yeah. Go ahead and give us your last
I'm
words that you want to give parents. And we'll let you go because we don't normally go this long.
Yeah. Well, number one, thanks for having me. There's unbelievable passion and care and concern for the community here. And so I appreciate y'all having me. I didn't know Mike was going to be on. It was a blessing to have you, man. Good seeing you. And I would say, as a parent trying to fulfill the dreams of your daughter or son, just let them be a little more proactive. Unless they really ask for it, don't give it to them. Provide boundaries and structure. They can't lay on the couch and be lazy and get fat and out of shape. But let them tell you what they want to do, and then foster, right, the dream, but only foster it if they're dedicated. I mean, everybody has dreams, but not everybody kid's gonna be dedicated. And if they have a dream, support it. That's awesome, but educate them on what it means to have a dream, because I think parents start treating their kids like robots and puppets, and they're people. And if you got to pull their strings, they don't have any problem solving solutions or skill sets once they're out of your house. And they're going to blame you for it because you didn't show them. And you meant well because you got up and you reminded them, do this, do that, do that. But just stop and be still and say, man, he ain't doing nothing on his own. If I just sit on the couch one day and let him do the workout, and let him chart his shots, and let him go to tell me, hey, we got practice. And if he's not doing that, then who's pulling the strings and whose dream it really is.
That's good.
Because in my experience, most kids say they love it, they don't really love it. Most kids say they work hard, they don't know what hard work is. Most kids say they want to be great. Once they feel the pain and the fatigue and the frustration, they don't want to be great. It's tough to be great. Ain't cut out for everybody.
That's good.
And that's okay. That's okay. But let them fall and fail forward. Right. Don't do it for them. They're going to be all right. They'll find their purpose. A lot of kids ain't cut out to be. A lot of kids ain't cut out to play sports.
That's right.
Let you know. I'll be fine if my kids I'd be fine if my kids don't play sports. I just want them to find purpose and passion.
That's
You know,
it.
but a lot of parents can't deal with that. You know,
Yeah.
and my wife and I have already had peace in our hearts. If they don't play sports, we good. They still can
Right.
change the world, right? Through a pen, through a drumstick, through a guitar, through a sewing machine, through a
Yeah.
broom,
Yeah.
you know, through clay, whatever they want to do, through a book. But they still got to exercise because they got to be healthy. I don't want to pay for their health care. You know, they
Right.
still got to exercise, but they don't have to play a sport.
Right.
And I think that's where parents get it twisted, man. Well, how do you know your kids are even going to be want to play sports and be good at it? Like a lot of kids don't have to play. You don't have to play sports to be a great in society.
It's a ticket out, but you know what? COVID-19 is what
drop the mic.
Right. COVID-19 is going to cause us to have to look at passion and purpose. Because if everything is shut down, then you're not going to be able to even get out there to do sports anyway. So you're going to have to look at something else that you want to introduce your kids to. So there's always a plan. God always has a plan. But we want to thank you so much. We thank you for answering the email. Thank you so much. We appreciate you opening this door and coming on the show. Maybe next year you come back on the show. We have the other moms. We're doing greater things. We've done over 96 shows, and we're coming up on our year. And we're going to shut it down for a couple months and just regroup and maybe come back bigger and better. So maybe next year you can come back on the show. But thank you so much. We really appreciate you.
You're welcome.
You're the realest coach I ever met.
A lot of fun. See you.
I'll
take that as a compliment.
Yeah.
That's how we roll in 757, man. We don't mess around in 757.
What's the 757?
That's a zip code.
Oh, watch out now. Watch out. Whoa. What's going on there?
Where y'all from?
Florida.
What she said, what's the 757? She ain't say what's the 757.
Okay, the Florida.
No.
I was born and raised in Hampton.
In Florida.
Yo, we Texas, baby. Everything
I live in Florida
big
now, but my roots are in Hampton Roads, Virginia.
Okay.
There you go. Say it again. Say it again. She said, what's the 757?
Hampton Roads, Virginia.
My man.
757.
All right, so
Keep
this online, a systematic online curriculum, that's your program. You want to tell them about real quick before we close out?
Yeah, if anybody's interested in what I do, I'm easy to find on the internet. Ganon, GANON, I have a website, Ganon Baker Basketball, social media, and we have a curriculum, holistic curriculum for coaches or players that want to get better at the game from beginner to pro. I do a lot of mentoring, live, virtual. I have a free mentorship platform. Everything's on my website. We'd love to have you and try to help you reach your goals and dreams as well.
All right, fans. We will see you guys on Sunday when we do our season finale. We ask you to tune in, like, and share the video on Sunday at 8 o'clock. Thanks again, Mike, and thanks again, Coach Baker, for coming on the show.
Thank you, Scott. Yes, thank you, Coach Baker. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
And this is Can We Talk Sports, and we'll see you guys later. My host,
Kawashika.
All right, we'll see you guys later. Woo!